Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her
Oh,
tight, gonna
holy
grab
shit.
some afternoon delights. You're listening to the Auxiliary Gate Podcast, Kentucky's weekly horse racing discussion. And now, here are your hosts, Alan Schneider, Geoff Riggs, and me, CC Broaddus. Okay, it's 242, episode 242 of the Auxiliary Gate Podcast. We are recording on April 17th, 2026. I've got race six at Keeneland up right now. I've got Alan Schneider here, crypto millionaire, noted right wing activist, uh, uh, furniture man, furniture dealer. Oh gosh, I mean, I'm running out of superlatives. You're a man that wears many hats.
You would think so, but all those are fake. As anybody that knows me knows what's going on. I've been hacked on Twitter maliciously, as a lot of other horse racing type people have. Not that I'm really a horse racing person, but yeah, I this is the real OG. I am the OG Alan Schneider, not the dickhead who is out there pretending to be me. But we're working on it. It takes time. I'm not the only one it's happened to, but yeah, this is the real Alan. Hi.
Here's a public service announcement. If you get a DM
Yes.
in Twitter, no matter how personal it may be tailored to you, do not click it.
No.
Do not click on that because that's bad news. So,
There are a lot of media personalities right now whose livings are being based on the Derby coming up, right? And they need their social media, and it's not a big deal for me. I don't make any money. It's not the end of the world, or whatever. There's a lot of people that are friends of ours or not friends of ours that we don't know that if they got stymied at this time of year, it would be crippling to them. So once again, a dickhead move. But yeah, as CC said, don't click on any direct messages on your ex that you don't know about because the one that I did click on appeared to be quite valid. It was not. So, and you guys, and if you're following me, just unfollow me because you don't want to see this dickhead stuff on there anyway. So
I unfollowed you a long time ago, even before this.
I can't blame you because who wants to hear about 80s music all the freaking time, right?
Did you happen to hear this? Been really busy this morning, but I did catch this. A Flightline 2-year-old at one of the Ocala sales. I think it's the Ocala April sale. The Flightline 2-year-old brought $10.5 million today
Oh my
at
God.
auction. What about that?
It's gonna be kind of hard for me to hear anything since I'm not on social media. However, that is a staggering amount of money. That's amazing. I wish I had a piece of that.
Amir Zidane of Zidane Racing, the man that owns Brant. He owned Medina Spirit. Yeah, so Bob Baffert's going to wind up with this 2-year-old Flightline Colt. $10.5 million. I just thought we'd learned our lesson about blowing huge sums of money
Amen.
on unraced horses. I mean, even going back to the 80s, Seattle Dancer, 13.1 million.
I remember.
The Green Monkey was 16 million as a 2-year-old. Snoffy Dancer, I think, was like 11 million. Um, you
That's
know,
one I'd forgotten about.
well, that horse wound up overseas. Seattle Dancer did too. That was a half brother to Seattle Slew, which that was
Oh,
like 1983, maybe 84.
in
You know,
today's dollars, what would that be? Oh my God.
yeah. I mean, those horses never pan out. They just don't. And people are still doing the same thing every day or every year. You'll get some outlier like that. It's just odd that nobody respects history. But whatever, it's none of my business. Uh, did you, by any chance, you happen to catch the big three in their workouts? I call it big three. Further ado, Commandment and Renegade. Renegade had his what would you say penultimate
Yes.
work down in
Second to
Florida,
last.
Palm Beach Downs, and then Commandment and Further Ado had their penultimate works today, early this morning. By
I
any
did not
chance,
catch Renegades. I did not catch Renegades.
okay, did you catch the other two?
Yeah, I'm not a workout expert. I will never ever pretend to be a workout expert or whatever, but they look good. I mean, everybody does this time of year, it seems like for the most part. But I thought particularly Commandment kind of looked like the bull that he is, and I thought Further Ado came out of that race really looking really good. So they're both high on the list at the moment, and Further Ado has that tractability again that I can see he's got John Velasquez on him, right? I mean, John Velasquez likes to shoot to the front in the paceless derby. I could see him trying to gain more of a position with Further Ado. I'll be interested to see if that work next week. Leads me to believe that maybe they might try to shoot out a little bit closer to the pace.
That I'm very interested in that work with Further Ado because he looked like he wanted to do more. And the
Yeah.
question coming out of the Bluegrass was off of a career best and a horse that really loves Keeneland. Is this horse going to regress going into the Derby? And just from my untrained eye, that horse looked like he wanted to do more today, which is a good sign. I think I would like to to read a trained eye to know what an expert thought about that workout. Is that not good that he was kind of, I wouldn't say rank, but I mean it was just obvious he wanted to do more. So
Yeah, that bluegrass field, I keep going back and forth because there were two main contenders. It wasn't the toughest bluegrass, we know that. But I keep coming back to the fact the two main contenders were Cheritaville's horse, who's Reagan's Honor, who did not fire at all. I think the horse bled. And then Great White, who was trying dirt for the first time and kind of inexplicably went to the lead, so packed it in pretty easily. So when you take those two main contenders out, when they didn't fire, it's like, I don't know. I'm torn on Further Ado. It's like he romped, but man, when they say you beat nothing, in that instance, he actually did beat nothing. So I go back and forth on the horse.
I can't separate those three, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
I there's reasons to bet all three. Renegade looks like he has more upside. Just two 3-year-old starts coming into the race, and he looks like the one with the upside. But then you've got Commandment, who has one of the faster figures, and he always shows up, and he's got a
tough.
lot of heart. And if you just go back to his maiden win at Churchill, and where he had to bull his way through between horses, horse has a ton of heart, and he's got ability on top of that. So obviously he's a player, and of course Further Ado, which we talked about, has the numbers backing him up. So that's it's a pain in the neck. It wasn't like last year. To me, it was
Yeah,
clear cut last year.
yeah, yeah.
This year, not so much. And then you've got a host of others, supporting cast that's really good. Chief Wallaby is going to take some beating, and I think the California horse, So Happy, has reasons to be considered. It's a really it's an interesting race. It's a lot of lightly raced horses, which is frustrating because you're
Right.
not. It's a bit of a guessing game. But we've got two horses entered by the name of Albus and Incredibolt, both major prep winners coming into the Derby. And we're going to talk to one of the connections of those two horses, and I think we've got him right now on the line. Many years ago, Pin Oak Stud of Versailles, Kentucky, was a force on the racing scene. Founded by Josephine Abercrombie in the 1950s, Pin Oak would eventually campaign stakes horses such as Laugh and Be Merry, Confessional, Broken Vow, Alternation, and Canadian Horse of the Year, Peaks and Valleys. The Pin Oak horses were eventually dispersed in 2021, and the farm's future was in doubt until Jim and Dana Bernhard of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, stepped in to purchase the farm in 2022. Since the purchase, the Bernhards had campaign Grade 1 winners such as Go Rocket Ride and World Beater, and even a Melbourne Cup starter in Parchment Party. Unfortunately, Jim passed away late last year due to an illness, and he will not get to see two of his purchases, Albus, winner of the Wood Memorial, and Incredibolt, winner of the Virginia Derby, compete in this year's Kentucky Derby. However, his legacy lives on, and to discuss his legacy and Pin Oak's two exciting Kentucky Derby prospects, we have Michael Hardy, Director of Farm Operations at Pin Oak Stud. Michael has a fabulous racing pedigree in his own right. Originally from Ireland, he was part of the Godolphin Flying Start program. Eventually, he made his way here to work with Margot Farm in Kentucky, then went back to Ireland to work with Goff's Bloodstock Sales, and now he's back in the Bluegrass to work at Pin Oak. Michael, thank you for joining us. First of all, congratulations on your success.
CC, thanks first of all for having us. Just brilliant to be back in the bluegrass for myself personally, and brilliant to be here associated with Pin Oak. It's just such a farm with such a storied legacy and history. To be part of it going forward is pretty exciting.
Now, what is your precise job description at the farm?
So I'm the director of operations, sort of, I guess, similar to farm manager role. We've got a great team here on the farm. Uh, Josh Saville leads up our training division. Miguel Villasenor leads up our broodmare division. Um, and then my role is just really to essentially make sure they have what they need and get out of their way and let them do their jobs. I kind of oversee the administrative side, the maintenance side, the property side, all of a little bit of finger in every pie. But my main role is to stay out of their way and let them do their jobs.
All right. I love that Pin Oak has become a player again on the racing scene. At what point, though, did you start to believe that you guys could maybe have an impact on this year's Kentucky Derby picture?
Yeah, the two horses we have in the Derby picture at the moment, I mean, both of them showed promise early on. Incredibolt would probably have been the more forward of the two of them as a 2-year-old. He obviously started earlier in his 2-year-old year with Riley when he went down to Ellis. But when both of them went to Riley, I mean, he was quite positive, as was Joss here at the farm with them from day one. Incredible as a horse with a tremendous turn of foot. He's got great acceleration, as we saw in the Virginia Derby. When he started out at Ellis, he had shown a lot of speed in the mornings for Riley, and um, you know the race was there at Ellis. I think it was 6 furlongs. He wanted to start him out, but he really wants to use that speed late in the race. So when he stretched on out, you could really see that come to fruition. But he's a very horse with a lot of speed, really is. Um, Albus is a different physical type of a horse. He's more muscular, more kind of a heavier, stronger, maybe type build of a horse. Um, but again, a lot of the same comments would apply that he kind of showed early on that he definitely was a horse with a lot of quality. Um, it took him a little longer, or was not unexpected really to mature. We did obviously run it too, but you could tell he was just getting better and better and just needed a little time. We would have liked to run him a little earlier in the year this year, uh, but he sort of the way the races fell and the way everything ended up falling. The race at Tampa let him in as a nice prep to the wood, but um, from really from his 2-year-old year, we had these Derby preps in mind, and it was just a case of getting there in the most sensible way.
Now, Incredibolt was purchased for 75,000 at Keeneland September in 2024. Albus for $320,000. Albus is by Yopon, who we all remember as a really good sprinter, injured
Hmm.
early in his career. But did I know you said that, the horse had a good look about him, but did you have maybe like a two-turn races in mind when you guys bought Albus because of the sprint pedigree on top? Obviously, you've got Bernardini on the bottom, so you've got stamina influence there. But what did you have in mind when you purchased the horse?
Yeah, I mean, what we're really trying to purchase is always that two-turn type of dirt horse. He just looked at the sale like like he was going to be the type of horse that could train on dirt. He looked like he would have speed, um, but you have that Bernardini there in the pedigree, the unbridled, where you felt like if he could carry that speed, he would make a very solid two-turn horse. He's got a beautiful pedigree. You've got Dream Rush back in the second dam. Obviously, she was absolute superstar, won the test. There's a lot of speed back in under that second dam as well. You're dreaming of Julia, and uh, you've got some precocity and some speed. So, we were kind of hoping that you would be able to find that balance because I mean, you need speed. It doesn't matter what distance the race is. You need speed to win the race. So we're pretty lucky that he seems to want to carry that speed certainly over the 9 furlongs, and we hope and we think it would continue over 10.
What's the Pin Oaks operations goals? Is it you're going to buy yearlings with an eye toward maybe the 3-year-old races, the big races, or are you trying to produce stallions? Are you maybe I know back in the day Pin Oak was a stallion operation. Is that something that's in the cards in the future? What's going on with the operations short term and long term goals?
So right now we're still very much in the growth phase of our operations. I mean, long term, we want to get back to where Pinnock would have been historically with Mrs. Abercrombie, standing stallions, having a strong broodmare band, um, you know, 40 to 50 mares, all of a high quality. And then we'll be in a position where we can operate both as a racing stable and as a commercial farm. In 5, 10 years' time, you will see Pinnock bred horses competing alongside Pinnock purchased horses. So, we're going to continue to purchase yearlings at the sale, certainly in the immediate term future, and try to build up our broodmare band at the same time. So once, hopefully, I think probably everybody would set out with the objective to be self-sustaining. If we have the broodmare band that can produce a stallion for us every year, then that would be brilliant. But reality is we will continue to shop in the yearling market and try to supplement what we have bred ourselves to hopefully give us the best racing stable and best chance of producing our own broodmares and producing hopefully our own homebred stallion prospects as well.
Oh, I love to hear that. That's great. I love it. Let's turn it over to Alan. Alan, do you have any questions for Michael Hardy?
Yes, sir. Hey, Michael, but first off, congratulations. Having two Derby starters, not one, but two. Here we're in mid-April now. It's getting close. It has to be just, you guys have to be jumping out of your skin at the moment, right?
It's first of all, thanks, Alan. It's really exciting. I mean, there is an atmosphere on the farm that is just electric. Everybody is, you know, excited. Cannot wait for the race to arrive. Cannot wait for the day to be there. Enjoying every moment. We're in a very fortunate position, especially with Incredible. Albus was sort of the cherry on top of the cake.
Hmm.
Um, but Incredibolt obviously qualified, and we felt comfortable we were going to be in the field after the Virginia Derby win. So, we've had a few weeks to already get all the preparations in place and not be sort of stressing out now at this stage to figure out all the arrangements. So it's just been maybe a little bit more enjoyable run in. And then with Albus's victory in the Wood, like I said, cherry on top. You just lightning striking twice type of situation. I mean, Dana Bernhard here and Ben, their family, they're just so excited for the day, and it's great for Pinnock as a farm. It's great for them as owners and relatively new owners into the game to see the success that has materialized.
Is it hard for you and everybody on the farm to get their work done of a day now since everybody's holding their breath, right? And making sure that you get to the starting gate. That's got to be the toughest part. Every day make sure those horses get up, eat, they're good to go and stuff. That's got to be a little challenging, right?
There's certainly we obviously have more than two horses in training, and the same with Riley. So certainly every time you get a phone call or hear the
Yeah.
phone ring or see his name pop up, it gives your heart a little second beat. But no, honestly, everyone we know the horses are in great hands. Riley has just the most fantastic team. He's done the most amazing job with these horses. If there was any reason that they don't need to go to the race, they won't go. But it's they're in the best possible hands they could be in.
So, it obviously looks like a genius move now in hindsight. So you can feel free to take a bow if you like, but what led to the decision with Albus in particular? Because he was entered in the Florida Derby, and you guys decided to opt out of that and head to the Wood. So obviously that plan worked perfectly because he took the Wood. Was it the competition that day? Was it the timing was too quick off of a maiden victory? What was behind the decision to bypass Florida and head to New York?
So the Wood was really always the first plan. The Florida Derby was a week earlier, so we had to enter for the Florida Derby. We would get into the Wood. Um, Obviously, only having the maiden earnings victory at
Right.
Tampa, he didn't have a lot, didn't have a high purse earnings, and we thought the Wood was going to be a full field. So we were essentially hedging our bets that maybe we don't get into the Wood, even though that was our preference, and we didn't want to miss the opportunity to run in to run in one of the prep races because we did feel like Albus had the talent and the ability and the race he was on the improve and hopefully is continuing to be on the improve. We felt like the Wood was the most logical next step, not the final step, but the next step. But the Florida Derby entry was really as a little bit of a backup plan. If the Wood was going to overfill, we would have taken that route.
I got you. I got you. All right, on to Incredibolt then. He's got a two-turn stakes win already at Churchill, and that's always good to have in your pocket. You're successful on that racetrack. But the way he kicked away so impressively at Colonial Downs and Virginia Derby, I mean, that last furlong or two, he kicked on the jets. And that's a unique one-turn mile and an eighth race there for a lot of people who don't know that. Does that give you any pause at all that he might be a better one-turn horse than a two-turn horse, or is it just simply he can do both?
He's extremely versatile. He's extremely versatile. If you look at go back to his maiden victory also at Churchill,
Yes.
uh, he laid up close to the pace that day and was able to quicken away from the field. In the street sense, he came from out of it and obviously accelerated to take the victory in the Virginia Derby. I mean, we knew he was going to run a big race. We were confident that what had happened in the Holy Bull was not the true Incredible. That was a real head scratcher of a race. That he got kind of buried down in the one hole that day, and he just didn't travel over the Gulf Stream surface. That's all there was because walked back and went to the track the next day or 2 days after, and he continued right back in his work pattern. He worked better than ever, really, between the Holy Bull and the Virginia Derby. So we were expecting that he would certainly come back to run a race more in line with his street sense performance. I don't think he's just a one-turn horse. I think he has a lot of speed. I think he has a lot of speed, but he can lay up and use that speed. He's probably just getting a little bit more uh, race wise now, where he can kind of sit on the pace or sit off the pace and then accelerate. But the way he accelerated in that final quarter of the Virginia Derby, I think he might be overlooked a little bit because it's not the most recent prep.
A-
But
Amen.
but but he's got some real talent now. He really does.
You actually bring a very good point up to me that because a lot of what's been talked about this year, and it's fairly factual, pace is a little on the short side in this year's Derby, and you talk a lot about Incredibolt's tactability. Is there a possibility we could see him closer to the pace, or is that something that's up to Riley and Jamie?
Absolutely. That would be up to Riley and Jaime on the day. I mean, Jaime knows this horse. He's ridden him since he was a 2 year old. Um, Worked him a lot down in Florida over the winter as well, and obviously has ridden him in his races. That would be a decision between Riley and Jaime to make. But I know them. I know with full confidence in them that they'll make the right one.
I'm glad you brought up Jaime because it's well known by now. Jaime Torres rides both horses regularly. He won the Wood with Albus, and he won the Virginia Derby with Incredibolt. He has chosen Incredibolt. Is there any surprise to you about that, or is it just simply it's the logical choice given these two horses' resumes up to this point?
No, there's no big surprise. I mean, Riley or Jaime has obviously ridden them both. I mean, he was very complimentary of Incredible from the first time he ever sat on him to work his first quarter as a 2 year old. You know, he really gelled with Incredibolt and came off and made some big statements. So it didn't come as a surprise to us that that was the horse he wanted to ride in the Derby. Um, Manny Franco has been booked for Albus in the Derby, and we're really delighted. I think that's a great fit
Hmm.
as well for Albus, a really intelligent jockey that can see the pace. And Albus probably wants to be a little bit more of a stayer. He wants to probably come from off the pace a little bit more in a race like the Derby, we think. So I think Manny's be a great jockey to partner Albus in the race as well.
Yeah, I think you got two good ones there to pilot these bullets you got. I think you got a nice combo there. But the Derby. I know the Derby's exciting. You've got these two runners. It's got to be just an amazing feeling at the moment. But that's not all that's on in your at your farm because you've got a couple other really good ones. Like I think CC mentioned a Grade One winning turfer world beater who is a world beater so far, and you've got this distance specialist and Parchment Party. When can we see them next? What's up for these two guys?
So Parchment Party, he will run hopefully on Derby week. He's going to try and target the Isaac Murphy. I think it's on
A mile and
the
a half race, right?
mile and a half on the dirt. I believe it's on Wednesday. Um, World Beater, we're just taking our time with him. He's had a little setback, so we're just taking our time bringing him back to the races. But that's the objective is to get him back as well. But Parchment Party, I mean, what a super horse
Oh
he is.
yeah.
He is just he could be a flag bearer for Pinnock for years to come because he just has such a temperament. He could travel. You know, obviously went to Australia, took all that in his stride. I think the Melbourne Cup, you know, turf is probably not his preferred surface. The distance, I don't think he has any issue with, but it got an absolute deluge. I was lucky enough to be there in Melbourne up for the race, and the heavens opened for about an hour before the race, and it just took any chance that he had of running a good race away from him after all the travel and everything that had to go into getting him there. So he's back. He obviously won the Temperance Hill at Oaklawn on or Arkansas Derby Day, and he's in as good a form and looks as good as ever. Bill, you know, really done a sweet and fresh, and you know we may even try him back a little shorter again. You know, maybe later this year, try him back at the mile and a quarter as well, because you know he ran some big races last year, and when he stretched out and obviously won the Belmont Gold Cup, that set the wheels in motion for Australia. But before that, if you go back and look at his form, I mean, he ran. He ran a very nice race at Keeneland
Keeneland, yes.
back in last April, and then he backed it up with another very good race. Actually, I think they ended up the winner broke the track record at Churchill. Um, so going all the way back to mile and a quarter wouldn't be impossible either. But so lots of options on the table for him, and to have him in the stable with a Hall of Famer like Belmont, he's gonna do the right thing. He's gonna put him in the right spots where he needs to be. So.
We'll be looking for him on Derby week in the Isaac Murphy. That's a marathon race, and I just recall I believe it was a deluge at Saratoga on the main track. I think it was a Belmont undercard when he won the Belmont Gold Cup, and that race
Yeah.
was 2 miles, I think, and I think he won by about a mile. So if it rains that week, folks, keep your eyes out on Parchment Party. Rain or not, the horse has a big chance. But he did. He destroyed. That's what you call destroying the field, right, Mike?
Yeah, I think I mean he won that in an easy canter, and it was just fantastic because that was, I mean, that was one of the most exciting races I think for the Bernhards to watch because he was entered as a main track only, and Bill didn't scratch him because there was chances of rain. So there was rain in the forecast, and it was obviously turf. Belmont Gold Cup's 2 miles on turf. But so he was left in the race thinking that maybe it's going to come off the turf if this rain came. And I think between the race before the Belmont Gold Cup and the Belmont Gold Cup, they took it off the turf.
That's
So
right.
he had to sort of quickly make his way over from the backside into the paddock, and end up obviously went on to win the race. But it was pretty exciting because we were all here at Pinnock watching it together, and they said, "I don't know if he is he in. He's not scratched yet. I think he might. I think Bill might be going to run him." It turned out to be a pretty special day.
Yeah, it was a pretty secretariat-like performance,
Yeah,
ironically, on a Belmont day. So, Michael, I
yeah,
wish you the best of luck on Derby Day. Well, let's hope your horses get to starting gate. I think they both have great chances. I'm really kind of fancied Incredibolt myself. They've both been good to me, and I really like their chances. And we hope for the best for you and the Pin Oak team that they get through the starting gate on Derby Day and they turn in a big effort. Okay, I'm gonna turn.
down.
I'm gonna turn you back to CC.
Hey, Michael, I just have one more question for you. A horse I'm very interested in the barn is Gilded Bandit, a son of Charlatan out of a Tappet mare that just won impressively at Keeneland last week. Looking forward to his next start. Where do you think that's going to be?
So we're sort of looking at allowance options for him now. He could run potentially Derby week as well. Would be kind of what we might be thinking, to try and step him into the next stage of his career. But he's a very very talented horse. That race at Keeneland, I think that form will show out to be very very good as we look back on it later this year. Um, Really really special horse. Seems to have plenty of speed. He's obviously a very very well bred horse. His dam is a half sister to Arrogate. But no, he won now. We're very excited for him. Very, very excited for him.
All right, yeah, I'll keep an eye out for the entries on that one as well. Okay, Michael, this has been a pleasure. Uh, like Alan said, we'll echo what he said. Good luck to you guys next week or in 2 weeks actually, and good luck going forward. And gosh, I love to see those Silks back in the winner's circle and on the racetrack, and hopefully there's a whole lot more Grade One winners in your future.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today and discuss them. I mean, I can't express it enough how grateful we all are here at Pinnock for the opportunity and uh, how good Riley and the Mott family have been for the Bernhards and Pinnock and the success that we're able to achieve with them as well. So
Awesome.
All right, well, it's a great story, and yeah, like I said, I hope there's many more chapters to be told in this saga. Thank you, Michael.
Thank
super.
you.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so by the way, I thought that was a great job by you. Enjoyed the questions you asked there. I think these two horses that they have tremendous upside.
Oh,
Uh,
definitely, definitely.
their numbers are a little bit slow, but if they don't run well on Derby Day, I'm certain if they stay healthy, they're going to be around. Travers weekend maybe. I mean, they just or Travers Incredibolt could go either way. He could be a really nice one turn horse, or he could be a a two-turn horse. We don't know, but I'm looking forward. And then Gilded Bandit I like a lot too. So I'm man, they got a lot of cards they're playing right now.
And it gives you chills. It gives kind of goosebumps talking to somebody like that who's legitimately happy. He's legitimately happy for his team. It's a somewhat of an underdog story, I think. And you get two guys in there. And again, these horses can run. So really pulling for Michael and the whole team over after talking to him. So I'm excited. I'm glad we had him on.
Okay, before we go, did you watch the Masters over the weekend by any chance?
Actually, I kept up with it. My brother's a huge golf fan. I kept up with it a little bit towards the end because we're in this moving phase or whatever. I haven't been watching a lot of TV, but I kept up with it a little bit.
Did I don't watch golf like I used to. So I mean, I watched the last three holes, but on my YouTube stream or whatever you call it, the 1986 Masters popped up, and of course Jack Nicklaus won that year. Remember that year? It was like the year of the old guy. Nicklaus was maybe 50, 55 or something like that when he won it. And
That's an
then,
old guy. Damn it.
well, you know, I
56.
mean,
Yeah, I
Bill
get it. I get it.
Shoemaker was Bill Shoemaker was 56, and he
On the
won the.
Derby.
Speaking of Bill Shoemaker at 56, he looked like he was 96 the year he won.
Hard boots doing some hard living.
I guess so. But anyway, that's beside the point. Do you have any recollection of that Masters in '86?
I do not. I mean, I remember football and baseball
Do
better
you
from that era in college basketball.
do you know of any? Can you remember any type of uh, picture or scene or anything from that year?
Nicholas walking the final hole, maybe off the
Yeah,
top of my head.
he made that putt, that last putt.
No, fill me
Okay,
in.
so it's not how I remember it. I went back and watched the whole, not the whole thing. I watched the last 2 hours of it. Nicholas was like, he finished like an hour before the last golfer. So I
Really?
mean, he was four shots down with six holes to go, and just made an eagle and a birdie, and I think he made another birdie. I mean, he just surged, and then everybody else fall apart. Seve Ballesteros and Greg Norman had a, he was they were tied going in the last hole. Greg Norman, he channeled his inner Broaddus by hitting the ball in the fairway. But I mean, none of those guys could do anything late. But the one image I remember from that is Nicholas on the 18th hole, and he taps in and he makes a shot. And I just assumed that was the end of it, but as it turned out, that really wasn't how it happened. There were four pairs behind him, so the ending was kind of anticlimactic.
Hmm. So,
And I don't know. It's funny how things aren't how you remember them from
oh,
way.
I agree. So he put the pressure on the other guys. He put the ball in their court basically, right?
Right. He was Ballesteros was -9 and he was -5 when I started watching, which was roughly around the 14th or 15th hole. And he just surged to -9 like nothing. And all those guys just choked down the stretch, which is just that's how golf was, I guess, back then. Those guys, they were just great players. They were really good, but pressure got to those guys too.
Yeah.
And any number of those guys could have stepped up. And Tom Kite was in there.
I
He
remember
looked
Tom
like,
Kite. Yeah.
yeah, he had those Coke bottle glasses. Looked like a nerd.
Remind me of Tom Hume used to be a pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
But I'm not imagining the Kirk Gibson home run off Dennis Eckersley wrong. That actually did happen the way I remember. With two bad knees, he pinch hits and wins was it Game 4 of the World Series? Do you
yeah,
remember
that's
that?
like Eckersley had never given up a home run or
No,
something like that, right? For the whole
no,
season. Like,
nope.
what he pitched like one inning or two innings a game.
Yeah,
And yeah, that was insanity.
that was for all the kids out there need to watch that because Kirk Gibson should have been in a wheelchair. This is not. I mean, they probably had to help him around the bases and stuff. That was
That
one of the
was,
most iconic sports moments ever.
and Vince Scully's calling it, which is
Yeah,
great because he was
yeah,
one of the best ever. And then yeah, just like and it was just a line drive home run. He didn't. It's like how in the world did that happen?
yeah. But that one did happen the way I remember. I still to this day.
Yeah, yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, if that happened today, nobody would ever believe it. I
No,
guess it's
no.
like what the guy played for the Knicks, Albert King.
Yes.
Yeah, he came out on like two bad knees and won a playoff game for the Knicks
Yeah.
back in the day. Yeah. All right, that's it.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I will have Jeff Riggs back here soon. Hopefully, he's busy
Oh
working today.
gosh, where's he at? What a loser. He should be here.
He should be here, but that's okay. We'll get him back. I've taken my absences of late, but you guys know why. So
All right. Well, we got 2 weeks to Derby. We'll have a lot more. And until then, this is CC Broaddus on behalf of Alan Schneider, Jeff Riggs, and a great guest, Michael Hardy of Pin Oak Stud. Everybody have a great weekend.